Our next game. Can USF do it again? USF goes to Miami a week after knocking off another high-powered team in Florida in the Florida Gators. The spread is 17.5, still very large. Do we expect miracles from USF again? What are y'all's thoughts on this game?
No, and much of the public doesn't expect it either. This spread pre-Florida game against Florida USF, where USF wins, Miami was favored by 17.5. USF won, and Miami is still favored by 17.5. So the public has their opinion completely unchanged. I think the talent profile is just better at Miami. They obviously proved that, beating, in my opinion, a top 10 team in Notre Dame. Week 1, I think, for me, I don't expect the offense to really be slowed down, which was what happened last week with USF. Florida's offense was just anemic. They refused to throw it downfield. There was not a lot of just key playmaking plays. They weren't taking the easy layups. They weren't taking the free 5 yards. It just was just a slugfest. Offensively, they were terrible. And it wasn't necessarily a thing of USF just went out there and beat them, outscored them and scored 30. I don't think that's going to happen with Miami, and they get a huge help in that fact that they saw what happened last week. They know that they don't want that to happen to them. I think Carson Beck's going to cook. I think the receiver's going to cook as well, and Malachi Toney and C.J. Daniels. I just expect them to both have big games again. So I'm taking Miami. I think it's a great story, but unfortunately, we may see a murder on the CW this weekend.
Sure. I completely agree. Miami's defensive line, for one thing, I think is just going to be too much for USF's offensive line as they're looking to run Byron Brown and so on. Ruben Bain looked so good week 1. I expect him another huge week. Miami's not going to be scared to try and push the ball downfield to Toney, to Daniels. I just think they're going to be too much. They're too talented.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish this game and the Florida game were flipped for USF because I don't want them to lose this game and everyone be like, forget about USF. It was fun while it lasted, I wish they could end on the high note of beating Florida, if that makes sense, because I just really don't see it happening. USF, like you said, didn't really play fantastic last week. They kind of played a B-grade game, but just ended up winning because Florida was so bad. You're not going to play a B-grade game and beat Miami. They'll just tear you apart. This team has really impressed me through 2 weeks. I guess they were slow last week, but just especially week 1, I was very, very impressed. So I don't really see it happening back-to-back weeks, unfortunately. It'd be crazy. It'd be sick. But yeah.
Keys for the game. I've got a couple. JP, do you have a couple, I assume?
Yeah.
All right. I'll go and start off. I think a couple keys for the game is Byron Brown, obviously. What can he do on the ground? He leads the team in rushing attempts, yards, and rushing touchdowns currently. And then my second big takeaway key player is the backup running back, Alvin Isaac. He has not started the last 2 games. The starter has been, and I just had it pulled up, and I don't know where. The starter is somebody else, but Alvin Isaac has been very effective on the ground and through the air out of the backfield. He's averaging 11 yards per carry with 8 touches out of the backfield, whereas the starter's averaging 3 with 13. He's also got 5 catches for 64 yards, and he leads the skill position players in big plays with 5. So he's got 5 plays of either rushing yards 10 or more, passing yards, or receiving yards 15 or more. So he's been a super big play threat. Would love to see him. I feel like he's a guy who could go get a touchdown, go get 30 yards on a little screen to a running back or a check down. So maybe he can do something creative and get the offense important yardage. He's somebody to watch. I'm super excited to see him play. So, you have any takeaways from Miami's or key points for Miami, JP?
I mean, for Miami, I think I didn't write that up there. I think I might have written that up there. I did. Just play ball. I think they just go out there, treat it like a normal week, a normal non-conference opponent, and just go out there and play ball. Pitch and catch, hand the ball off, attack the passer, do the simple stuff. Don't make it complicated. Don't try to be cute. Just go out there and play football. You're better than them, and that's all you need to do. This Miami getting tripped up in this game happens if they play cute, if they try to play down to their opponent. It's something like for in basketball and travel basketball, if you're playing a weaker team and then all of a sudden now you want to start doing Luka Doncic handles and James Harden step backs and Steph Curry 50-footers, like then you're going to be in a closer game than you really should be at the end. Just go out there, play ball, execute, and I think they've got every opportunity to go out there and win the game. Like they can mess up a few times, and I think they'll be fine. For South Florida, you just can't kick field goals. You got to score touchdowns every single time you get a chance. Hope that you can get to 28 points, and that's enough to win the game. Because last week they only scored 18 points, and Florida was so bad offensively that they only scored 16. I just don't think that's going to happen for Miami. I think South Florida is going to have to get up there to 28 at least to be in this game. So you can't kick field goals. I think you got to go for it on 4th and 3 and less, and just continue to be aggressive. But they've set themselves up. Like if they cover the spread this week, if they're within 10 points, within 7 points, they have the whole runway in front of them to make the college football playoff. They have the best resume in the country right now with 2 ranked wins, and they have everything is in front of them to make the playoffs. They just have to not, falter in American Conference play.
Yeah. Another thing I'll say is limit Carson Beck's big plays. 3 of his 4 passing touchdowns this season have been big plays, 15 yards or more. And then another thing is for Miami, one way they can lose this game is penalties. Because that's one place where you can be bigger and faster than the other team. You can have more talent, and you can screw yourself. In the first 2 games, they've committed more penalties than the other team. It hasn't come back to bite them yet. They're 2-0. South Florida has had less penalties than the other team in their first 2 games. So that'll be something to watch. That's a way that Miami could let this game be close very quickly, is if you start doing stupid things, PIs, holdings. That can keep South Florida in the game, and it doesn't matter how much more talented you are.
Sure. I think we're ready to pick this game.
Yeah.
Miami's favored by 17.5. I don't know if that's been said yet. I'm going to take a USF backdoor cover. So I'm going to take USF to cover the 17.5. I think Miami wins by double digits. It's not particularly crazy close. But, yeah, USF backdoor cover to cover 17.5.
I'm taking Miami to cover and win by 20+. I don't think they'll have much of an issue there. Sven, I think you're confusing 70 with 61. Francis, I'm not even going to say his last name because I would butcher it. It's a Hawaiian last name, so I just,
Fair enough.
He's an Oos, but he's the bona fide first round pick. I don't know about Markel Bell. And then to answer Tucker's question, I think he could be. Golish could be better than Cristobal, but Golish is 5 years removed from coaching in high school. So I just think there needs to be a little bit more time coaching, a little more sample size. I'll have to go watch Markel Bell tape then, Sven, to see if you're right there. I just don't know. But give me Miami to win and cover.
Sure.
The thing that's in my mind when it comes to picking this game is that year where Vanderbilt was trash talking Alabama, and this is a video of Alabama when you come to our house, you learn to play SEC ball, and then Alabama goes in and blows them out. And I kind of have that same feeling where South Florida is like the underdog. They just got to win over Florida. They're the best resume in the country. And I've kind of got the feeling they're going to go in and get whooped. So I'm going to pick Miami to cover. I don't know if it's going to be 55-13 like Sven said. That's a 42-point win. That's a little rich for my blood. I could see this being 20, 28, 3-4 touchdowns. But I'm going to pick Miami to cover.
Fair enough. This is a good game for you to make up ground in. Then, as I found
did
myself
almost
in an early
pick
hole.
USF. Just that's the hard thing. It's like you got to weigh what do you think's going to happen, and then also weigh what's a good way to make up ground to stay competitive.
In my eyes, it's like we're too early in the season to be looking to make up ground. Like I just need to get picks right at this point.
True.
So
True.
Last couple weeks, if I'm still down, I can look to maybe zag to make up some ground. But we're not there yet. So I'm just picking what I think is going to happen.